Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil. It is transfer deadline day and we have lots and lots to get into on the show today. But before we do that, please do me a small favour. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're only 2 subscribers away from 41,100, so let's try and hit that today. And be sure to like the video as well. Let's try and see 500 likes. Now, the question I've got for you this morning is in relation to INEOS and our transfer window. I want you to let me know in the comments section, how would you rate Manchester United's transfer window, January transfer window so far? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you happy? I like to see what other Man United fans have to say. So get in the comments now. Let me know your thoughts on the transfer window. I will read all of the comments. I will reply to some of them. So go and do that right now. But let's start the show off by talking a little bit briefly about yesterday's game against Crystal Palace. I mean, it was another, I was going to say a woeful performance, but I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. I'm just taking everything in. We had lots of opportunities, but again, we don't score. We don't hit the target. We don't have anybody clinical in front of goal. You know, you think of the Bruno Fernandes chance. You think Mainu hitting the post. We had lots of opportunities to score goals yesterday, but as usual, we don't. We don't finish our chances, which was the same under Erik ten Hag. So our chance creation has kind of been the same as it was under Ten Hag. But the problem we still have is finishing the chances. Exactly the same. So we haven't got any more clinical in front of goal under Ruben Amorim. And that kind of just shows you that these players, regardless of who the manager is. And I'm not making excuses for these players by any means, because at the end of the day, they're professional footballers and they're paid to score goals and they're paid to win football matches. And they didn't do that yesterday. But it is clear to see that we desperately need to sign some attacking players. When you look at our front line now, right? The only attacking players at Manchester United now are Garnacho, Ahmad, Rashford and Xerxes. I mean, when you read out that list of players and you compare that with, say, a Chelsea, a Liverpool. Compare that with Liverpool, right? Liverpool have got Salah. They've got Diogo Jota. They've got... who else have they got? My brain's gone. They've got, obviously, Darwin Núñez. They've got others that I've probably forgotten. You compare that with Chelsea even. They've got Sancho, Mudryk, Neto, Madueke, Joao Felix, Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, Mark Guehi, Washington. They've got about 8 players in that position. We've got 4. So it's a real problem. And I put a tweet out last night because I was feeling quite angry, as you can imagine. And I'm just going to read back what I put out on Twitter last night. This is kind of the section of the show where we're talking about INEOS' transfer window, by the way. So in the last 6 months, Manchester United or INEOS, we're told that INEOS are running the football club now, which is complete rubbish, I think. But let's just go along with that narrative because that's what they've tried to tell us. INEOS tell us that they're running the football side, right? So if they are, they need to have the blame, even though we know for a fact that the Glazers are still heavily involved with all of the transfers and stuff. But so in the last 6 months, these players have been allowed to leave Manchester United, okay? You ready? Mason Greenwood, Anthony, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Pellistri, and Anthony Martial. Those 6 players have all been allowed to leave Manchester United, okay? Maybe some of them have been the right decision, maybe some of them have been the wrong decision. That's not the point I'm making here. The point is that you've let 6 attacking players go, and the only player that they've signed in an attacking area is Joshua Xerxes. So within the last 6 months, you let 6 people go and you sign 1 person. I mean, even just basic maths, that doesn't make sense, does it? And let's be honest, right? Is Joshua Xerxes better than Greenwood? No. Is he better than Anthony? Debatable. Is he better than Sancho? No. Is he better than Marcus Rashford? No. Is he better than Pellistri? Debatable. Is he better than Martial? No. So you've effectively let 6 players go who are all better than the 1 player that you've signed. And then people are still sat here saying, why are we not scoring goals? I mean, it's clear to see why we're not scoring goals. They didn't strengthen in the correct areas in the summer. It's as simple as that. We needed to buy attacking players and we didn't. Why? Did they think that Joshua Xerxes was going to solve our goal-scoring problems? Did they think that Rasmus Højlund was suddenly going to come good and start scoring goals for fun when he didn't do that last season? Rasmus Højlund's been awful this season. But at the same time, I don't want to put all the blame on him because he's a 21-year-old who'd only scored, I think, 7 professional goals before he joined Manchester United. Did we really think that he was going to be good enough to lead the line for Man United at that age? No, of course he wasn't. He scored 2 goals in 19 Premier League games this season. And we wonder why we are where we are. And he didn't even play yesterday. He's so bad that the manager's decided that he's trying Kobbie Mainoo as a striker because he's so unhappy with what he's seen in Rasmus Højlund. I mean, that just sums it up for me. And you know what? This all just falls on INEOS for me personally. They need to sign attacking players. You can't let 6 players go. And even if you just look at this from a financial standpoint, right? Martial was on 200 grand a week. Rashford's on 350 grand a week. Sancho was on 300 grand a week. Antony was on around 150 grand a week. Greenwood was on around 150 grand a week. So if you just look at that really, really basically, right? 300 for Martial, 350 for Rashford. That's already 550. 300 for Sancho. That's 850. 150 for Antony. That's $1 million in wages. And then Greenwood, I think, was on about 150. Pellistri about 50. So across those 6 players that they've got rid of, they've saved £1.2 million a week in wages. And the only replacement... sorry, everyone. The only replacement they've brought in is Joshua Zirkzee. But they're still telling us that they don't have money. They're still telling us that they're skint. They're still telling us that we have to sell to buy. I mean, we have sold. We sold Sancho. We sold Greenwood. We sold Pellistri. We sold 3 people and we still didn't buy anybody. I don't understand. I mean, we are where we are because of bad recruitment. It's as simple as that. And for me personally, I just think that Ruben Amorim's been set up to fail. Realistically. He has. You bring in a manager in the middle of the season who plays a completely different formation that suits the players that you have. The team that we have know how to play a 4-3-3. And even then, that's being kind. I wouldn't even say they know how to play a 4-3-3. But the point I'm making is, for the last decade, managers at Manchester United have played a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 or some variation of a back four with 3 midfielders and wide wingers. That's what Manchester United have been known for, right? What do they decide to do? They decide to sack a manager midway through the season. Maybe that was the right decision in Ten Hag. And then they bring in a new manager who plays completely different football and say, here's a load of players who have been playing a 4-3-3 for the last decade and have got 6 managers sacked because they're so bad. Come in and try and play a completely different formation whilst you have none of the players that suit that formation. And he's probably thinking, okay, let's give it a try. January window comes round. And their answer to this is to sign a player who's 20 years of age from Serie A in a team that are fighting relegation in Serie A. That's their answer. Here you go. Have one 20-year-old that no one's ever heard of. And I honestly think it's a disgrace. And I personally think that INEOS have just set Ruben Amorim up to fail. Because nothing's got better since Erik ten Hag got sacked, realistically, has it? Where were we in the table? Let's have a look. So Manchester United table when Ten Hag was sacked. Let's have a look at how many points we had. So, so Erik ten Hag got sacked and we were 14th in the Premier League when he got sacked. How many points do we have, though? That's the question we want the answer to. The point I'm making is we haven't got any better. We haven't got any better. Some may even argue that we've got worse. So let's have a look. Premier League table on Tuesday, 29th October. So, yeah, we were in 14th points. I think Ruben Amorim's got 11 points so far for Manchester United in the Premier League, which is absolutely woeful. But none of this blame is on him. None of this blame is on him for me. This blame is all on INEOS because they were the ones who were stupid enough to bring in a manager who plays a completely different system and not give him any money to do it. So since Ruben Amorim's come in, we've gone from 14th to 13th. Obviously, we've got through to the next round of the Europa League, so that's positive, but I don't know. But yeah, I'd love to know how you guys are feeling about the position we are at the moment. Like, where do we go from here? Ruben Amorim's lost 5 of the first 7 home games as Manchester United manager, and we haven't really played anybody of any real magnitude. We've played people like Crystal Palace, we've played Bournemouth, and I know every team is difficult in the Premier League, but it's not like we've played Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City at home so far. We've played teams like Brighton. I know they're all good teams, don't get me wrong, but still, they're not like the top teams, are they? When you look at our next few Premier League games as well, it doesn't get any easier here. And the most shocking thing for me as well was that I looked at the table yesterday and Everton are I think they're in 16th, Everton, right? And they are only 3 points below us with a game in hand. So if Everton win their game in hand, the team who sacked their manager quite recently, they would go above us in the table. We could go as low as 16th come the next Premier League game, which is mad. I don't think we're going to get relegated, but I think we will finish almost bottom of the table. 1 or 2 places away from relegation. Because our next 2 games are Tottenham away and Everton away. 2 teams who are below us. If we were to lose to Tottenham and Everton, we could easily be 16th, 17th by the end of February. And then after that, we've got Ipswich at home, which I'm not even confident there will be Ipswich at home, to be honest. And then you've got Arsenal at home. Man City at home. We've got some really difficult fixtures coming up. You got to go and play Chelsea away, Bournemouth away, Newcastle away. I mean, I'm looking at our final games in the Premier League season, and I'm not even joking here. The only few that I'm somewhat confident that we might win is maybe Ipswich at home and maybe Leicester away. All of the others, I would say, is 50-50. Chelsea away, probably lose. Newcastle away will lose. Nottingham Forest away will lose. Everton away will probably lose. Tottenham away will probably lose. I don't know. I don't really know where to go from here. And I think, obviously, why we're in this position is clear. We didn't strengthen in the right areas in the summer. We do create chances. Defensively, we're not that bad. It's just individual mistakes. But we don't score. And if you don't score, you don't win football matches. I mean, you could argue if you don't concede, you don't lose football matches. But we have too many mistakes in us as a football team defensively. But what do you expect? We chop and change our centre-back partnerships every single game. Some weeks it's De Ligt, Yoro and Martinez. Other times it's Mazraoui playing there. Luke Shaw might play there when he comes back. We chop and change too much, I think. And I know it's all about rotation. But at the same time, we need to win football matches. And the worst thing as well for me is that before this game yesterday against Crystal Palace, the mood was quite positive. We drew with Liverpool, we beat Arsenal, we beat Southampton, lost to Brighton, then we beat Rangers, we beat Fulham away, we beat FCSB. We were on a bit of a roll. I think we'd lost 1 game in the last 7. And then we come home in the Premier League, and what happens? We lose again. It's just annoying. It's just really, really frustrating. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys all think about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Everyone who's just joined the video, if you could do me a little favour and drop a like, that'd be really, really appreciated. We're trying to get to 500 likes on this episode. And be sure to subscribe as well. I've just dropped a link into the chat to do that. We're only 2 subscribers away from 41,100. But anyway, that's my little rant about INEOS over. Let's move on to some transfer related stuff, because I imagine that's why most people are here today. So this is coming out from Fabrizio Romano this morning, saying that Mathys Tel is pushing for a loan move while Bayern are insisting on a permanent deal or a loan with an obligation to buy. So it looks like the Mathys Tel deal is still back on. There still is the possibility that Manchester United will sign him. And then we have another journalist coming in this morning, reliable journalist in the UK, saying that talks with Manchester United and Bayern Munich for Mathys Tel are still ongoing and are not over yet. So I think this whole thing yesterday where it was like the deal is off, he's not coming, I think it was all just part of the process. Bayern are saying we want the money now. Man United are saying we don't want to give you the money or don't have the money even. It's all just a case of what does the player want? Is the player going to get game time at Bayern Munich? No. I think he still probably will sign for Manchester United, in my opinion, Mathys Tel. But as I've said, will he be enough to make the difference? Maybe. Maybe he comes in and he finishes the chances that we're missing. Maybe he is going to score us 10 goals before the end of the season and, somewhat saves this season. But I just think, honestly, if we go into the rest of the season with the squad we've got, I worry. I really, really worry. Because it's clear to see that INEOS either one, don't have the money, or two, aren't willing to back this manager. Because signing a 20-year-old in Patrick Dorgu is not going to make the difference. You know? I know we've got this Aiden Heaven guy as well, people keep telling me, but he's an 18-year-old defender. Like, we need to score goals. And we have 4 attacking players in our whole squad. Xerxes, not good enough. Hoyland, not good enough. Ahmad, obviously, is still kind of learning his trade. I think Ahmad's good enough, obviously, but he's not the finished product yet. And Garnacho's the same. So you've got 2 prospects in Ahmad and Garnacho. And then you've got Rasmus and Xerxes. Rasmus, I guess, is still a prospect. And Xerxes, I just think, doesn't suit the Premier League. I think he's better suited to a slower paced game like in Serie A. But it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough at all. And when you put that into perspective as well of all the other things that have happened, the ticket prices going up, cutting the money to charities, getting rid of all the brand ambassadors, that all makes sense. Fine, do that. If you have to do that, you have to do that. But then for your transfer windows to be worse than what they were like under the Glazers, like, it doesn't add up, does it? You know, the Glazers kept all of these costs. They kept the ticket prices low. They gave the money to the charities, but they still would then spend money in the transfer window. Whereas INEOS are cutting all the costs and then saying, oh, we don't have any money. It's like, do they think we're stupid? It's basic maths. You're saving money in other departments, but then you're saying, oh, we don't have any money to spend. What? Especially when you think that Rashford's wages have been covered, I think 75%. Anthony's wages have been covered. Like, Manchester United alone, let's have a little look at this, right? So, Rashford is on 325k a week, right? And Aston Villa are covering 75% of his wages. So already, between now and the end of the season, that's about £5 million that Manchester United will make from loaning out Rashford. Then you look at Anthony. Anthony's wages are somewhere around 150k a week. Okay, and Real Betis are paying, I think it's 86% of his wages. So if you do that till the end of the season, that's about 3 million. So across those 2 loan deals, Anthony and Rashford will be making about £8 million between now and the end of the season. And that doesn't include any bonuses. That's just literally the wages that they'll be giving us for 2 players that weren't being used. 8 million there in wages. Why are they not going out and doing some loan deals? You know, why are they not? Why is that not happening at the moment? It doesn't make sense. Even Mathys, it's just frustrating. It really is, and I think we just have to hope and pray that today is a big day for Manchester United. We need to hope and pray that we get some deals over the line. Right, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Somebody says Glazers never spent money, they used our revenue. Okay, well, why are INEOS not using our revenue? And to be fair, the Glazers mainly borrowed money to sign players, didn't they? They took out loans and stuff. I understand, like, from a business perspective, what INEOS are trying to do. They're trying to balance the books. They're trying to get us in a better place financially. But the problem that we have is, obviously, the more successful you are as a team, the more money you make. Even if you look at the Premier League, right? Just on a really basic level. So let's do this. Prize per position. So I don't know if people realise this, but depending on where you finish in the Premier League, you get a different amount of money. And it's quite a big difference. So at the moment, I think we're in 14th place, right? So if you finish in 14th place, you get £129 million worth of prize money from the Premier League. Whereas if we were to push up the table and say finish in, what's reasonable, 7th, 8th? If you finish in 7th, you get 150. So we would make about an extra £21 million if we managed to get a top half finish this season versus where we are now. So I just don't even understand from a business perspective, why are they not looking at this situation thinking, we're in an awful place, let's try and do some loans, let's try and do some interesting transfers to give Ruben Amorim the best chance of getting some results, because every single place in the Premier League is worth more money. It's about 5 to 10 million per place, you know, versus... So does that make sense? So, yeah, I don't know. Richard says, why are we not going for Marco Asensio? I think he's going to Aston Villa. I think he's going to Aston Villa. Sheikh says, what's the prize money for winning the Europa? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. How much do you win for winning? It's obviously not going to be as much as the Champions League, is it? So Europa League, if you win the Europa League, you get... Let's have a look. So if you win... I mean, it's pretty pathetic, really. If you win the Europa League, you get about 9 million euros. When you think that Casemiro's on £15 million a season, 9 million euros is nothing for Manchester United. It's like a drop in the ocean. What do you get for winning the Champions League? How much? It must be a lot more, surely. Yeah, if you win the Champions League, you get about 30 million euros. So you get like 4 times the amount. I mean, even then, though, 30 million euros is, again, like, that's Rashford and Casemiro's wage for the season. It's just mental, isn't it? And all right, let's go back to some transfer related stuff. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent here. So Mathys Tel is definitely one to watch throughout deadline day. I think the window closes at 11 tonight. When does the transfer window close? The window closes at... I don't know why it's been extended as well. It's quite strange. The deadline is Monday, it says, but what time? I assume it's like 1 minute to 12 on Monday. I know. It says 11 p.m. on Monday. Oh, sorry, no, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. UK time. So the transfer window closes on Monday, the 3rd of February at 10 p.m. UK time. But you got to remember as well that in Europe, they're all an hour ahead. So, like, we would have to get deals done by probably about 8 or 9 p.m. tonight. If they're not watching last night's game and thinking we desperately need to strengthen, then I don't know what's wrong with them, to be honest. They're clearly just... I don't know. I honestly am lost for words. But so that's the latest on Mathys Tel. And then we also have a story coming in about Christopher Nkunku. This is coming up from multiple different people that apparently Manchester United are still considering making a late offer for Christopher Nkunku. I don't know. Why would Chelsea loan us Nkunku, though? I don't really get it. Surely if they... like, I got the whole Nkunku thing before when they wanted Garnacho. But, like, why would they want to loan us Nkunku? He's actually playing games for them. He's playing all of their conference games. He's played 29 times for Chelsea this season. Christopher Nkunku. He's got 13 goals and 4 assists. Like, he's actually contributing to their team. He's got more goals than any of our players do. He's got... like, I just don't get it, you know? Like, Christopher Nkunku has more goals this season than Xerxes and Højlund does combined. Why would they loan him to us? I just don't understand. I don't think that one will happen. I think the likelihood of signing Nkunku is pretty small. I think Mathys Tel is a possibility. But somebody in the chat saying that apparently if we win the Europa League, we'd get about 40 million euros. Okay. I mean, that sounds a little bit better, doesn't it? I think the story I said or read was saying just the specific prize money for winning the final. But obviously you win money for, you know, each round, don't you? So if you win the semi-final, you'll get money. So we need to win it, really, if we want to have any chance of having a big summer. Oh, God, I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave the video here. Hopefully something happens today. When's the next game? Is it this weekend or is it midweek, the FA Cup? Let's have a look. I hope it's on the weekend because then it gives them a whole week of training because they desperately need to work on some stuff, don't they? Let's have a look. Fixtures by competition. I assume it'll be this weekend, the Leicester game. Leicester. If anybody knows, let me know in the chat. FA Cup, Leicester. Oh, it's on Friday. So we play Leicester this Friday at 8 p.m. at Old Trafford. I mean, if we were to lose that, I don't even know. I can't even begin to contemplate that. We have to win that game, don't we? I mean, the FA Cup's another chance of winning a trophy, but again, maybe we are just a cup side now. Maybe we can't just do it consistently in the Premier League. Maybe that is just what Manchester United have become, a team that win FA Cup. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better than being a Tottenham or, someone like that. I mean, Newcastle haven't won a trophy for like 30 years, have they? I don't remember the last time Aston Villa did, but I don't know. To suffer every single week and then win a cup every now and again, I don't know what's better. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously, if anything happens, I will go live. So hopefully we get something coming out today, some breaking news. Fingers crossed we get Mathys tell, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Have a great Monday, everybody. Please don't forget to drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I will speak to you all later. Bye for now.